Hello everybody, and thanks for checking out my review. Today I'm going to be going over the Casio G-Shock. This is the GW-B5600HR-1DR. The module number on this is 3461, so if you wanted to get the operation instructions for this watch, all you have to do is go to Google, do a little search for Casio 3461, and you'll find the full instruction manual. This watch is really easy to figure out and really easy to work with. So starting it off, we have a classic black box with the red logo in the middle, and then some gray writing around the side, just talking about Casio G-Shock 1983, shock resistance and water resistant up to 200 meters. And if you go around the front, you have the G-Shock logo in red. And on the back, you have the SKU, you have the model number along with the module number on the bottom here. And going into the box, of course, you have your instructions. And the instructions are not the typical instructions. They're like book-like. This is more kind of one of those large ones. It comes in all different languages. And going into the warranty, and that also comes in multiple languages in a large sheet of paper. And you have your warnings just to make sure that you don't overcharge or put it in the sun for too long, because it does have a battery in there. And going into the box itself, we have another classic here. We have the black tin with the red G-Shock logo, red logo on the front, red logo on the back, nothing on the bottom. And going into the can itself, under the padding, you have the watch. So let's bring it down. Alright, so bringing it down a little bit here, I did increase the exposure on the camera a little bit, so this way you could see the display clearly. This is actually reminiscent of a watch that I did 11 years ago. It was actually the second review that I did of the GW-M5600BC, if you wanted to look that up. Similar design. I mean, basically you have the resin case. You have the composite bracelet, which is a mixture of the resin and the metal, and it's got the regular clasp that you open up. The sizing on this watch is really easy to do because it's all spring bars on the middle there, so you don't need any type of a tool except even maybe even just a paper clip would do fine. Sizing is perfected with the micro adjustments here, and then looking on the back here, you'll notice it's got the 4 screws rather than the screw backs that I usually get. It's a very light watch because of the materials used. It's of course got the solar, it's got the atomic, and it's also got the advantage of having the Bluetooth, so I can hook this up with my phone like these new modules are doing. And the way they're hooking these up with the phones, I'm really enjoying it, because it's basically a great watch for somebody that might not be crazy about having a smartwatch, whether it be an Android or an iPhone or an Apple Watch, if it's not your style, and you don't really need to see your messages. I mean, this is just an easy setting watch that you could use with the application. I'm going to walk you through that shortly. So again, the watch is really simple to walk through. It starts off with obviously the day of the week. You have the date, you have the time, you have your seconds, and the modes are real easy to walk through here. You go into the first one and you have your world time. The nice thing about it is it's got the scrolling on the top box here of the world time city that you're going to. So if I go down here to number 2, it'll have London time. Number 3, it'll have Paris, and you don't have to try to figure out what the initials of that particular city is. So that's really handy. You go to the next one and you have your hourly time signal. So every hour on the hour it'll chime, just a quick 2 beeps. You go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 alarms. The 5th one has a snooze to it. You go to the next one and you have your stopwatch, 24-hour, and it keeps the time in the upper right box too, which is handy. And you go to the next one and you have your timer, which is a 24-hour timer. One thing I set this up specifically for is you can actually break it down by second. So if you wanted to just set a 5-second timer, you can if you wanted to. Once again, the time stays in the upper right-hand corner. And then it takes you right back to the time. Now the handy thing about going through the modes is if I ended up doing something within the mode here, so if I'm going through the times here and I still want to move forward through the modes, I can, but if I wanted to just go to the home screen and I didn't want to have to go through all modes to get to the home screen, all I have to do is keep it pressed and it brings me right back to the home there. All right, so now I'm going to walk you through the settings, and the settings are pretty straightforward, pretty easy to go through. So if I wanted to set the time right off the bat, immediately the easiest way to do it is just to synchronize it, obviously, with either the towers, or you can synchronize it with your smartphone. And doing it with the smartphone, you can customize all the features that go through it. But I'm going to walk through it manually for you. So if you don't have a smartphone, and what you do is you hold on to that to the set button, and the first thing it's going to take you to is what time zone you want it to set it up to. So I could, move it up or down. I of course live in New York or New Jersey area, so I keep it of course on New York. The nice thing about going through the settings is you press the light button up here, and you can go back and forth between these two buttons on the settings. So this way you don't have to scroll through the entire setting to get to where you want to be. So once we have the world time set, we press the mode button here. And we go to auto, and the auto is going to auto sync it with my smartphone on whether I want to or not. Go to the next setting, and I have my seconds that I can zero out, so this way I can synchronize it with another timepiece. Set my hours, set my minutes, and I set the year, set the month, set the day. And then I could choose between 12 and 24 hour. And then I could choose the format of the date. So I could choose it to either be the month and the date or the date and the month. So it depends on the part of the world that you live in. And then you have a bunch of languages that you could work through as well. So you got English, Spanish, French, German, Italian. I don't know what that one is. Czechoslovakian, I guess. And then back to English. And then you have the button. This is the one that makes the sounds with the buttons there. So you can mute that if you want, or you can keep it on. I tend to keep it on so I know that the button is pressed correctly. And then you have the light settings. So the light has a setting in here where you can basically tilt the watch towards you, because the negative displays tend to be a little difficult to see. So if you're at night, you tilt the watch towards you, and it'll automatically illuminate. And you can choose that for 2 or 4 seconds. I typically just keep it on for 2 seconds, and it's pretty responsive. I'd say probably just about as responsive as an Apple Watch. And then you got the receiving from the time signal. You have the atomic timekeeping on this, so it goes to the major towers across the world. This one, I believe, is out of Nebraska or Nevada, but basically you could set it up automatically for you at night as well, and you could turn that on or off. I choose to just do it with my smartphone, but I'll also have no problem keeping it with the atomic timekeeping too. This way, it's one or the other, doesn't matter. And then I have a power save on, so it turns on and off certain features. So if you ended up keeping this in the dark for too long, and some of the features you don't need, it'll turn those off for a power save. So this way you don't have to worry about it. And then you have, that's it. So going into the settings on the individual modes, you have the world time. The modes are really easy to go through on here. So basically you could just scroll down to whatever time zone that you want, and you could set up 5 different slots. So if you travel a lot and there's specific cities that you go to, so for instance, if I wanted to change up number 3 here and I wanted to make it, let's say, New Delhi, I can keep it there. I press the set button and it's set. Go to the next mode, and you have your 5 alarms. So you can set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5th one has a snooze. And then you have the hourly time signal. And you can turn that on or off with the setting. So that basically just makes it beep, 2 quick beeps on the hour. And then back to the first alarm. So setting it is the same way as the time. So you basically can go in, set it up for, let's say, 3 o'clock. 3:05. Goes off the same day every day. And that's it. Go to the next one, and we have the stopwatch, and it's got a split timer as well. So I press the mode button. And I could stop it, keep it going, zero it out. And if I want it to split, I press the setting button here, and now it splits it. I go back to the first runner, second runner, and I could stop it, and then the split will tell me what the first runner and the second runner did. And I can go to the timer, and the thing that I like about the timer is you can set it by the seconds as well. And you notice in the modes that I'm going through it, the time always stays present in the box on top there too. I believe I mentioned that earlier. So setting up the stopwatch, same deal. I could set it up by the hour. It's a 24-hour stopwatch. I could set it up by the minute, and the thing I love about it is I could set it up by the second. So if I wanted to just set it up for for 30 seconds, I could do that easily, not a problem. And then once I want it to go, press the bottom here, and it starts counting down. If I want it to stop, I just press the button again. I could get it starting again, or I could reset it with the power dim setting button. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through the application. It's the Casio Connected G-Shock application. If you just go into the App Store or the Android Store, it's really easy to find. It's free, of course. You download it to your phone and you launch it. And once you launch it, you're going to see a nice little graphic animation there. And what you're going to do is scroll down to your watch. In this case, it's the GW-B5600. And it's going to tell you right off the bat to hold on to that lower left for 3 seconds. So what you want to do is you want to hold on to it until you see the little connected confirmation on the watch. So it's blinking connected. And now I have the prompt to register the watch to the application on the phone. And when everything is connected, you're able to change all the settings. So everything I did manually before, I could do a lot quicker and easier on the application. So the first thing it's going to give me is the world time options. Then I have a guide here that'll walk you through every aspect of the watch. So for instance, if I wanted to disconnect, I just press the button again real short and it'll disconnect. And if I wanted to go into the guide and look at the different operations of the watch, whether it be manual or on here, I can see what each button does. And one thing that I really like about these is there's a phone finder. If you notice on the bottom right button there, a phone finder section there. So basically, if I'm disconnected from my phone, rather if I'm within a Bluetooth distance of the phone, I press that for about 5 seconds and it sends an alarm over to the phone. So this way I could find my phone easy. It's pretty loud too. You could set the loudness to your liking. And going into the settings, so if I wanted to go into the world time settings, if I wanted to change the first spot there, I can go around the map here. So if I wanted to go over to Karachi, I could set the city to the watch, and it automatically sets it over within the setting on the watch. Once it's complete, it gives me a confirmation. You'll see it move on the map, a nice little animation there. Setting is completed. And if I go into my settings, once the watch is disconnected from the phone, I could see the #1 spot would be Karachi. And then the nice thing is I could change the home time with the world time, and that you can see live. And it switches it over automatically on the watch as you see it change. So that's and I could cancel that out, of course. So that's the world time. Time and place I'm not going to get into. That sets the GPS settings. So this way if you're going on long hikes, you could basically track your locations while you're doing the hikes. You go into the alarm setting and you could change each alarm directly from the application, making it nice and easy. So if I wanted to change it up to 6:30 every morning, send it over to the watch. And once again, once I'm disconnected from the application, I go into the watch and you'll see that that time setting is taken care of for the alarms. And if I go into the timer, I could set that up to whatever I want it to be. So if I wanted to set it up for 58 minutes and 5 seconds, send it over to the watch. Once again, once I disconnect from the application, I go into my timer settings and it's changed over on the watch. So this just makes everything nice and easy, and there's a really nice feature on here that you cannot do manually on the watch itself, and it's a reminder application. So I can go in, I could set up 5 reminders, and it could be an anniversary, it could be birth dates, it could be whatever type of a event that I want to make it, vacations, and basically I can go in, I could change the date that it's going to happen, I can go into my repeat, so I can have it go only one time every year or every month, and then I can go into the period, so I can make it go for just one day, or I can have it go through 5 days, and then I can go into the day of the week and have it go all 7 days or whatever days I want it to go off. So that's another nice handy feature here. And that's pretty much it. So that's the connected application. It's really easy to work with, as I said. Just wanted to kind of give you a quick demonstration on that. And back over to the watch. So that's your settings, that's your walkthrough. It's a great little watch, another great Square by Casio. I love how they're advancing these features to work with the smartphones. Again, if you're not a big fan of smart watches, this is a great alternative for you. The only thing that I wish Casio would do with these watches is put a vibrate feature. Because if you're setting it from your phone, especially with those reminders or the alarms, it would be nice to feel it on my wrist. It would actually wake me up probably a little bit easier than the alarms that they put on them, because they tend to be low volume. The illumination is great on these. I don't think I showed you that, but the illumination lights up the entire screen really nicely, so it's easy to read. And again, great job, Casio. It's a very comfortable watch. It's very light to wear, and I don't know what else I could say about it. I mean, these classics are getting great upgrades. I definitely suggest purchasing this. Take a look at the instructions. You'll see how easy it is to work with, along with this video, obviously, with the walkthrough. And I just want to take a second to thank you all so much for the 11 years. I can't believe it's been 11 years that I've been doing this. I've met a lot of great people, a lot of great friends. I've gotten a lot of great feedback. I hope that the video quality has been improving. I want to continue to improve. I got some great watches I'm going to be putting out this year. I want to thank Topper Jewelers for sending me watches to review. This particular one I purchased myself that I'll be keeping, but there's many more that are going to be coming down the pike. At some point in the near future, I plan on doing a contest, a giveaway, just to, again, thank you all for the support that you've been giving me. So please subscribe to my page. Of course, press the little bell on the bottom there, so this way you'll be notified when new reviews come up. I'm also on Twitter at DougFNJ, and I'm a moderator over on watchyouseek.com. Great website, great forums, great discussion, great sales forum over there. Definitely check it out. And thanks again for your support. Thanks for watching this review, and have a great day.